On film shoots, of course, things can go wrong.
Horribly wrong.
Terribly wrong. In this case, the police were called.
Things went south.
And let's just say chaos ensued. As a film producer, it is 100% your job to deal with potential fires or straight up dumpster fires.
Dumpster fires, yep.
Karen's coming in here. She's yelling at Rennie.
So in this two-part series, we are going to give you 7 solutions to 7 incredibly common problems that we have both seen and experienced as indie filmmakers. In fact, these are problems that pretty much every filmmaker faces. This story that we're going to tell you today is probably one of the darkest days in producing our most recent feature film, Alien Country.
Would you say it was your darkest day of like mental, emotional breakdown of the movie?
Of the movie, no. Of the shoot, yes.
Easily mine. Full on mental, emotional breakdown at the end of a very long day.
So this information is not theoretical or based on stories of what James Cameron or Spielberg did when they had millions of dollars back in the 80s. All of this comes from real practical experiences on set of our bootstrapped feature film that released last year. And you do not have to learn the hard way, you can learn the easy way. And in fact, we've included our indie filmmaker starter kit as part of this lesson so that you can avoid the pitfalls and the dumpster fires of not doing the proper legwork when crazy people come out of the woodwork, call the police, all that kind of stuff.
Just FYI, this vlog is going to have a couple of spoilers of our movie Alien Country, which is available right now on all platforms.
In fact, you can go to aliencountry.com to get the special edition, link in the description.
You love this
Special
so
edition,
much.
link in the description. Special edition, link in the description. So strap in and enjoy this dumpster fire of a story.
And vlogging.
And this is how we almost died once. In the middle of the desert, a crazy psycho Karen came out of nowhere and just started yelling at you and called the police.
Yes, but let's set the stage and back up, because what were we actually on location for and why were we there?
We were in central Utah, outside and around a town called Torrey, Utah.
We're in near Torrey and Teasdale, Utah.
Which is near Capitol Reef National Monument.
Looking for a great place to do a motorcycle chase and a motorcycle stunt.
Really beautiful red rock wilderness.
You know you're definitely in the right town when there's 5 folks doing a cattle drive down the middle of the road.
And we were doing what's called second unit photography.
Beautiful.
So principal photography is what everybody thinks of when you're on a set.
5, Mark.
It's your main cast, it's your main crew, it's your main locations.
Okay, so this is like our 6th day on set, and right now we're doing the ice cream scene.
It's your largest days on set versus second unit photography, which is typically a much smaller crew, people like stunt doubles or body doubles.
Gotta bring in the real thing, you know? Can't use the fake stuff anymore.
Yeah. This is when it gets real. You need a real stunt double because this kind of driving, these mountain roads, Sharon couldn't handle it, so his brother Sarah stepped in.
Oh, dang. You're getting everything from establishing shots or landscape shots, or if it's stunt work, it's gonna be somebody jumping out of the way of an explosion or running through a canyon, like in our case. So a lot of this stuff can require a good team of stunt coordinators or drivers, drone photographers, those types of things. This stuff will fill out the sequence. And so we had a lot of things we were actually trying to accomplish in 2 short days of second unit photography.
So day 1, we were trying to get driving shots with what we called our Jimmy truck and aerial shots running into the canyon.
There was a big motorcycle jump shot, and that was the money shot for the opening chase sequence.
We needed a canyon chase close-up and a scenic shot of the portal. So that was day 1.
Day 60 up, we'll take 2, Mark.
Day 2 was our big day. We had a vintage vehicle and a vintage motorcycle, and we needed to do the opening shot of the film as well as the ending shot of the film, which had a separate vintage vehicle associated with it. But we were also doing the big bulk of all of our scenic landscape shots to fill out a motorcycle chase that opens the entire film. And all of that was gonna get shot in 1 day, which was the second day of our second unit photography. So obviously, you know, ambitious. How did it go?
Are we talking about day 1 or day 2?
Day 1, let's recap. Okay.
All right, guys, here we go.
Day 1 actually went really well.
Went pretty smoothly, actually. We got our driving shots with the Jimmy truck.
Getting beautiful footage here at the flute shop. Drones in the air. Yeah, roll camera. Go ahead and start driving. And yeah, we're going to basically just get another one right before this storm hits. And then the car got stuck on take 3. All right, guys, that's a cut. Go ahead and come back to base camp.
And then we got our aerial shots, which were gorgeous. We did not, however, get the big jump. Do we remember why?
Yeah, there were a number of reasons. We set it up and we couldn't find the right angle. After working with our stunt rider, it was just like, this isn't gonna land, this isn't gonna be good. So instead, we ended up getting a pickup shot we needed for this canyon chase sequence.
Take 4, Mark.
And action. And cut.
And we got a shot of this wide vista that we were gonna implement or put the portal, the visual effects on.
Which did not work out.
Both of those things actually got cut for the final film.
Problem number 1. Every filmmaker is going to experience not having enough time to film everything they planned. And they find themselves asking, how do you choose the most important thing to film? Solution number 1. Some things are going to cost or take time, but some things would cost way more money.
You have to prioritize the stuff you can't get again.
Focus on the things that are more expensive and get the meat of the story and the expense taken care of.
And so if I just needed to go down with the camera and spend another day in this area and film some landscape shots, just me, I could do that. But I couldn't bring a motorcycle back down. I couldn't bring a police car back down. So we really prioritized those, and all the stuff we couldn't repeat again, the vehicles, specific things, we tried to get all of that stuff. The exception of the motorcycle jump. So we're gonna measure this, I think, in percentage dumpster fire, 1 to 100. So my dumpster fire meter, I think by the end of day 1 was like probably just 10%, because I was like, man, how am I gonna fix this problem? Day 2.
Day 2. Oh, bless.
So we wake up in the morning, we're headed out, we let our crew rest, they got a 12-hour turnaround.
Pausing really quick to talk about what is a 12-hour turnaround. Problem number 2, indie filmmakers often ask too much of their crew. The amount of work that people have to do, but also the amount of time they request from people. Solution number 2, treat people's time well. A 12-hour turnaround means from the time you stop working one day and the time you have to start working the next day, you give your crew 12 full hours to go home, rest, recover, and come back ready to work. This will avoid so many more problems. Not just people being tired, exhausted, overworked on set, but frankly, it will help you build better relationships with your friends and fellow filmmakers. Okay, unpause.
And we needed to get our opening shot of the film. And we had scouted the exact location. There was this giant red rock bluff that was at the end of this long straight road, and we're like, this is the setup. This is gonna just set the tone for the entire film.
This looks pretty.
Yeah,
Pretty
this is
awesome.
it, right? This is the thing. The opening shot of our movie right here. On a windy morning in June, we are here to film the opening shot of our film. So we have Sean's bike over here. Pretty rad looking. We have our old 80s police car. It's gonna be an epic FPV drone extravaganza.
We've got our vintage police car, we've got our vintage motorcycle, they're gonna just fly by camera, this is gonna be incredible. We had a drone, 2 different kinds of drones, we're ready to go, we get things going, and the lights on the police car we couldn't figure out how to turn them on.
Oh, I forgot about that.
So we're watching the sun just rise and rise and rise, and the shadows are getting like shorter and shorter, and the eyes
And less attractive.
and just like all of the aesthetic of this beautiful sunrise, which also could be sunset, golden hour, just started to fade and fade and fade.
We waited until the light was absolutely perfect. We had to wait a little bit longer to make sure that it was just a little bit higher in the sky. Straight up. We have to make sure the timing is right. Yeah. You know, so that it looks great. Real truth is that we couldn't get the lights working on the police car. But anyway, the point is, it's all great.
But crisis averted. We called up the guy who owned the police car. We figured out how to get the lights to work, and we started rehearsing. We got our drone out and we started going.
And then
So I'm sitting there and we're trying to communicate and we're trying to get all clears.
No.
We didn't control the road. It was like a Sunday, and so we didn't have police blocking it off, and we didn't need to for this particular shot. We were traveling within the speed limit, but I noticed that like I'm trying to communicate with my producers and they're not able to respond, and I'm like, what is going on? I look down the road and I see this lady just like waving her arms going crazy, and I'm like, who is this?
Karen's coming in here. She's yelling at Rennie.
Leaned in, aggressive. There goes Karen.
we notice this lady coming out into the middle of the street, and she just starts like yelling. Yes, a local townie, the epitome of a Karen, was just like ranting and shouting. As the producer on set, I had to make my way over to her and calm her down. And she was like, I got the police. you shouldn't be here. People think you can just come down here and fly drones and make noise and I don't even remember what she was saying.
Hey, we're staying within the speed limit. It's not the issue.
Yeah.
We had permits. We had the right to be there. We had the police on our side. We
Yeah.
actually like let her know. We were like, call this sheriff. We've been talking to him. You know, we've got a permit. I was like, go ahead, and I named the police officer by name that I had chatted with. And literally, I had done my homework. I got a permit and I got permission to be there, and they knew we were there.
She just doesn't like the noise in her town.
But, you know, from her perspective, she felt like we were tourists from LA or somewhere coming down and just like disrupting her peaceful morning. And that's, I mean, we were in a way, but we had permission to do it.
Problem number 3. Filmmaking can be disruptive.
And so I think that the key point here is, as indie filmmakers, you need to consider what you're doing and how it's going to impact the local community.
Solution number 3, consider the impact that a film crew and film production can mean to a community, to a location, and to the environment.
And if you are filming in an active road, you need to actually call the police to have them close down that road or discuss with them whether or not that's something you need to do. You can rent them by the hour. In this case, we didn't need to rent the police, but we had talked with them because we had an actual fake police car that we were going to be using in this production. So we made the call, we let them know. If you have weapons on set, if you have a fake police car on set, if you're doing any kind of stunt work, if you're in an active road, all of that is something you should talk with local law enforcement. And so when a Karen comes out and actually starts yelling at you,
complaining about the noise, that's what it mainly was. It was the noise of the drone and the motorcycle driving by.
Yeah, so basically she's complaining about the volume that you would get from your neighbor mowing their lawn or weed whacking, and that was just too much for her in that day. But again, we weren't here to ruin her day. We were here to make a cool movie that featured the landscape that we all should be able to enjoy. And so we made that call to police officers, and we just went for it. Okay, resetting, here we go. I'll call pictures up, we'll get the drone in place, and then we'll say action, and that's when we'll start driving.
Is that action?
Action. For the most part, we were good, but here's the reality. Between the sunlight
And the Karen going crazy.
we did not get the opening shot of our movie. Now, some of you might be watching this going, what do you mean you didn't get the shot? This looks solid. Well, yes, the blocking and the movement of the drone and the bike and the car, all of that looked fantastic. But the lighting, the window for beautiful golden hour light had passed. We weren't filming this shot until several hours after the beautiful, stunning look that we wanted. To put that in perspective, this is the lighting we had versus this lighting, or even this. Now, why is that important for our specific film? We knew we were making a film that was going to streaming services, right? Whether it's SVOD or AVOD platforms, people are stumbling upon our film and have never seen anything about it before. So the opening scene, and especially the opening shot, needs to absolutely captivate the viewer. So we needed to push the level of quality for this opening shot to be the absolute best we could. So at the end of the day, we didn't get the shot.
So, I don't know, dumpster fire meter, where are we at here?
I think we hit about like 35% for me.
Yeah, it was a little frustrating. It was very frustrating because, again, we felt like we had come here for this very specific shot. We got the permission, and we didn't get the shot.
So we thought that was going to be the biggest drama of the day.
Oh, it surely was not.
So Rennie and I have never talked publicly about these stories and this day, but actually about a year ago we posted about this to our Patreon followers, and we got pretty real.
So I think we should tell our audience about some pretty legit Kardashian-style drama.
If you found this video helpful, hit that like button. If you have thoughts about anything we've said, leave a comment, ask us a question. We'd love to hear from you. And also make sure to download our free Indie Filmmakers Starter Kit so that you can actually learn to implement these type of solutions and learn how to run your own set so you can make your own movies. So this is a two-part series, and in the next video, we're gonna dive into some of the more intense problems we faced on this shoot.
Yeah, we had a stunt rider doing motorcycle stunts, and we had an old police car.
Which meant we had to haul an old police car,
Yeah.
literally. And so Boston and I thought it would be a really great idea to save some money.
Right.
And
In the big leagues, you have a transpo department, right? And
there's a reason for that, because they're very qualified to do their job.
yeah, they know how to, I don't know, put a vintage vehicle on a trailer.
On the back of a flatbed truck.
But we were like, how hard is it? It's
It
not
can't
that hard.
be that hard. We can do it ourselves.
So we borrowed our friend's van, and
Literally, our friend down the street had a van. He was like, take my van.
it's got a towing capacity of 6,000 pounds. You should be fine.
We're like, okay, how do we find a flatbed? And
He's like, I
helped
got
us find one.
you. So he's sourced one, and he got a super heavy duty one that probably was a little bit overkill for what we needed. You could have put a
It was
backhoe
like-
on there.
It was overkill.
But
So Boston, myself, and another city slicker, our producer Danny. Major shout out to Danny, because he really went through the ringer this weekend.
he put up with like a marital strife, I guess you
Yeah.
could call it.
Marital drama.
So make sure to subscribe and check out part 2 for the rest of the 7 problems and 7 solutions. We'll see you there.